Well, hello out there, and welcome again to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. So happy to have you with us. I'm Tom. I'm here, as I always am, with my beautiful wife, Michelle.
Hi, everybody, and thank you for saying that, especially since I'm having quite a bad hair day today.
Your hair looks beautiful. It's spectacular. I don't know what you're
so
talking
sweet.
about. I love it. She's this cute little redhead, and she just looks adorable, especially with headphones on.
You're sweet.
You know, you need to, they look on, you just need the little ears on
Right?
there,
That's what
to
I
be
need
like
to
Mickey
do.
ear headphones.
That
That'd
would be
perfect.
awesome. Wait till next week.
Yeah.
Now it's on.
Maybe a little gifty coming up this holiday season.
Right.
We'll have to see. Thank you again for joining us this week. We are taping this show on Sunday, October 7th, 2018. We appreciate that you found us today. In the future, you can find us on 1057max.com under the Max Plus tab, as well as on the Max FM app. And you can also find us on SoundCloud. We're on Stitcher. You can subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play Music. And if you do, please just drop a little rating, just a little review, just to kind of help some other people who love Disney, just like you love Disney, kind of find out about this podcast. We want to grow this Hyperion Adventurer family into a giant family, and we want to bring everybody in.
That's right. We really appreciate that. And we also appreciate when you all give us some feedback or some tips and ideas. So keep them coming. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we love hearing from you. We want this to be an interactive show, so please contact us when you get the chance, whether it be, like Michelle said, a tip, whether it be something you like, whether it's something you'd like us to do a little better on, whether you just want to say hi, whatever it is. We just love hearing from all of you out there. You can contact us on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook and Instagram at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. You can email us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com. I don't know why I made this name so long, but that's what it is. If you need to know how to spell it, we will happily do that for you at some other point. You can also find us on the web, as well as the 1057max.com. We also have our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. You can drop us a comment there if you want to contact us that way as well. So lots of stuff for today's show. We have Star Wars news. We have Walt Disney World Resort Park news. We actually even have possible news about a new live-action remake of a Disney classic film possibly coming out. So
I can't wait.
Lots of stuff coming up here, but what we really want to talk about, and if you were following us on social media at any of those places where I was talking about just a moment ago, you saw where we were last night, and that was Mickey's 90th Spectacular. They were taping this last night, and that's what our main topic is for today.
Yes, it was really exciting, and it was exciting to get the confirmation that we got our tickets via D23.
Thank you, D23, once again.
Absolutely.
Always coming through for us.
Absolutely, and anxious to talk about it. And as we promised on our teaser video during the week, no spoilers here. You know, we'll talk more about the experience and about what we saw and the process of it, and a few little things of who was there. Of course, it was all posted news, but you know, we're not going to spoil it for you. We want you to be able to watch it on November 4th on ABC and really be able to appreciate that with maybe a little bit of the behind the scenes info.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're looking for. I won't be talking about anything that wasn't out there already in the media. If you had already seen the guest list of who is going to be appearing at this, we won't give you any real details about it. But we are going to tell you a few behind-the-scenes things that happened that you may not see, or probably will not see, actually, when it airs on ABC on November 4th. But it was a lot of fun. I know we were just so excited to be there. It was a great night. Lots of Disney fans. It was a good time.
Yes, and you could feel it in the air, and you know, being around people we didn't know, and we got a chance to get to meet some people that we didn't know sitting around us, and just everybody had that same enthusiasm and excitement. And you know, as they kept talking to us during breaks, this is a celebration, and we were part of the actual celebration that's going to be airing, and that was so fun.
Yeah, it was great, and a great tribute to Mickey Mouse himself, the man, the myth, the mouse. It took place at the Shrine Auditorium in L.A. It's a kind of a very historic old building right in the middle of L.A. The Shrine Auditorium, it does look a little old. It does look a little old, but it's still, when you get into the actual theater itself, Just a fantastic setting. This great chandelier, this great work around the stage. And it looks like the Shrine Auditorium has hosted many award shows in the past, and that's what this looked like, especially the stage setup. It looked like it could have been any of the, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, whatever, that kind of stage setup.
Yes, it had that grandeur about it with that. But as you mentioned, some of the other parts of the areas maybe not as luxurious, but hey, it was an awesome place
just
to
say
be.
The restrooms were a little dated.
That's right.
The restrooms were a little dated, weren't they?
That's right.
But it was a great place, and it was really great to be there with all those Disney fans. It was a fitting tribute to celebrate Mickey Mouse's 90th birthday. For sure, you're going to love it when it comes out on November 4th, again on ABC. Don't miss it. Set your DVRs, whatever you got to do. Don't miss it. Here's the speakers that include. Again, I'm going to only mention the ones that were talked about in media somewhere. So the speakers were Kristen Bell, who you know is from many things, but
right.
Anna from Frozen, of course. Josh Gad, who is Olaf from Frozen, and LeFou from the live-action Beauty and the Beast. Sophia Carson, who's from the Disney's Descendants series. She also performed for us as well while we were there. Leslie Odom Jr.,
who?
You may just know him as a Tony Award winner for something called Hamilton. He was only Aaron Burr, sir. He performed and spoke as well. Tony Hale, who you may know from HBO's Veep and also Arrested Development, was there. Sarah Hyland from ABC's Modern Family. They really had the whole Disney oeuvre covered here, because also Sage Steele from ESPN spoke out there. A little bit of I won't get into it. I was about to say something, but I don't want to get into it. Wendy McClendon Convey from The Goldbergs, again from ABC. Anna Camp and Skylar Aston from Pitch Perfect. Miles Brown from Blackish, another ABC show. Bob Burgess and Sharon Baird, two original Mouseketeers, made an appearance, which was fantastic to see. And of course, the big man himself, outside of Mickey, Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, made an appearance as well. And there was one other person that has not been mentioned anywhere in the media, but it's a big name. That person showed up as well, and I'm not going to give it away here because it hasn't been announced, but it's another big name that you can look forward to.
And the crowd went wild.
Oh, yeah, it went crazy. There was only a couple moments, and we'll talk about another moment when it went crazy. But this place, when this person came out, they went crazy. There were some outstanding performances. We already talked about Leslie Odom Jr. and Sophia Carson. Also, Zach Brown Band did a number. Meghan Trainor, Tori Kelly. Luis Fonsi, who you may know from the big, giant hit song Despacito, did a song as well. And Josh Groban did a song. He's great. Actually, one of the best parts of the night for me was Josh Groban. And then the K-pop group NCT 127 came out. I don't know. I have no idea who this group is, but boy, let me tell you, the young ladies in the theater went
crazy
nuts when they took. I mean, absolutely banana. Like it felt like for those of you who've seen footage of the Beatles coming out, like it was like that. I mean, the screaming and the crying, and it was amazing. It was pretty
hilarious
funny.
In a great way, hilarious.
Right.
It was wonderful to see them get so excited when that group came on, and they really could dance, and they really could sing. They were impressive.
There's like 10 of them. You know, I was trying to count them because they were moving so much, and there would be like some would go off stage and come back on stage. So I was like, okay, is there 8? No, there's 9. Oh, there's another one. There's 10. It's a big group, but it was a lot of fun, and it was just great to watch these girls, these young ladies, just go absolutely bananas over this thing. I just really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Of course, I went really bananas over Leslie Odom Jr., but it's just my own little Hamilton thing I got going on. So I was, oh my God.
There was like 2 sets of the audience, you know. There was the ones that like the K-pop band, and then there was the ones that, you know, were really more in the traditional, or, you know, I guess Hamilton isn't traditional, but it's maybe not as...
It's Broadway, so
Right. So...
I am interested to see how that comes across. Not obviously. I am interested to see how Leslie Odom Jr. comes across, but how the K-pop group NCT 127. I don't even know if I'm saying this right. Is it NCT 127? Is it NCT 127? I don't know. But however they come across, I'm going to be interested when they broadcast this thing on November 4th to see how the crowd comes across in this. Because believe me, when you were in the theater, it was so cool. It was funny. The crowd was just going bananas. It was great. It was great. So it was so cool to see how they shot the show. And they shot it, I've been to tapings of TV shows before, so I've seen a little bit of how these done, but this is a little bit different. I've never been to this kind of show. So it was interesting to see how they put it together, and so that was a lot of fun for us. I think I think you'd agree.
Oh, definitely. And, one of the things that I think was a kind of a surprise to me was just how fluid it was. I was, I'm sure they did rehearsals and everything, but I was expecting to be a lot more choppy, a lot more, all right, let's do that again. Let's try it this way. And there were some of those.
There was a couple of them, but not as many as you'd expect.
Right.
For so many different people.
Exactly. And so I thought, wow, they did a lot of behind the scenes before we were there. So it was amazing. But that was very interesting to me to see that whole process, and that it was pretty much already set and ready to go, and how they could quickly change the stage setup, not only just bringing musical equipment out there like different pianos and everything, but just it would be totally different from one moment to the other. And, it was fun watching it happen, watching the people, they had a great crew, and watching them really get everything set so quickly and ready to go for the next performer.
What's also great is now with modern technology, they can create these giant LED type screens,
right.
And they can make it this set anything they want so easily using these screens, and they did that a lot during the show.
Exactly.
Which was really cool. One thing that you will not see, I'm sure, I have no reason why they would actually bring this onto the show, but I'm going to share it here because I thought we were like transfixed by it. Before the show even began, there was a minor near calamity that happened over just off to the side of the stage over here. There was some drapery that one of the assistants was trying to kind of make it look pretty and look nice, and then suddenly it just fell. And it's one of the key areas of the stage. And so there was a little bit of, what are we going to do? They brought out some people out there to try and hang it up. And you could see, we didn't know, we couldn't hear them speaking or whatever, but we could see them, something's broken and this and that. We were like wondering if they were going to get it up there and get it ready to go because this is only like a half an hour before taping began. And I know you thought, okay, well, what do you do when something gets broken and you don't have anything to fix it? Well, you go to duct tape, of course.
That's right. Or
which is the second best thing to duct tape when you need to fix something in a pinch.
Which you called it was fishing line.
Fishing line is exactly what they got out to kind of tie this thing and get it up there. We couldn't actually see exactly how they did it, but I know it was fishing line that they used, and you could tell when the guy walked away, he's like, don't touch it again, because it's fishing line, but it could go at any moment. So it was just really interesting to see them, rushing at the end when there's all this elaborate stuff going on the stage, and something as simple as a little drapery falling and having to fix it with fishing line. But still, you won't notice it when you see it on the camera because it did a good enough job to fix it.
Right, and it was like you mentioned, it was quite an area that was going to be recorded as a background a lot during the show, and that could have been disastrous.
Yeah.
And again, great crew, very impressive.
Yeah, it was really great how they rallied and threw it together. And of course, if it's not duct tape, fishing line always comes through. Always have those in your house because they come through in a pinch so many times.
So if your drapery ever fall off,
fishing line.
Then yes.
And be sure and cut it with your teeth because that's what the guy did. You don't need scissors. Just cut it with your teeth.
I know. I was expecting like this bag of tricks that somebody would come with all these things that could do repairs, and he just like, all right, looked at it for a while, tried to do a couple things with the rod that was there, and came back, like you said, with this fishing wire and cut it with his teeth, and it was hilarious.
It was great. It was so great. Really enjoyable. And again, that's something that won't be seen, I'm sure, but really was fun for us as we were getting prepared for this show to begin. Speaking of the show, be there right at the beginning. The opening number is outstanding. I'm not going to give you details, but I just want you to be there, whether you tape it or whether maybe if you're DVRing it, set it to record a couple minutes ahead because you don't want to miss a moment of the opening number, which is spectacular.
It sure was. And again, it's hard to make sure we're not talking about it because a lot of great things, a lot of great performances.
When it finally airs, we'll actually talk more about it again as part of that show, but we don't want to take away too much of the magic from you, because we know that you are all looking forward to seeing this, just like and you should be, because it's spectacular. The spectacular is the appropriate name for it, because it really is spectacular.
Right. And I think that what also is impressive when you're watching it is to realize that was all on one stage, live, very little break. The breaks were the actual commercial times. And so it's not like, okay, they stopped, 20 minutes later they have another set going. It's kind of like a play. It's evolving as you're watching it. So when you are watching it, just realize that it's all one flat stage, that they're doing a lot of behind the scenes to get things set up for the next shot.
And there actually was one part that we haven't seen yet, because there was a part where they did a couple of clips of films and stuff, and there was one that's like film yet to come. Because they haven't finished it yet. So there's something new that they're putting together that we haven't seen yet. So when we actually watch it, one, we're looking forward to, of course, seeing how it all comes together on November 4th, but also to see this film that we haven't got to see yet throughout the show.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Well, and maybe we should back up from the beginning of the process, too, of prior to the show starting, that they did introduce the director, and then they had Jay, right? That was his name, the crowd control person, come out. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about that process, because I think that kind of bringing it back to the beginning of how this all worked out.
Yeah, he warmed us all up and got us out there cheering and having a good old time, and they actually filmed some crowd shots before we even began to make sure that they get great crowd shots. They filmed a few before they began. Yes, everybody still did their part within the show themselves, but they kind of wanted to get some extra stuff just to kind of embellish that a little bit,
Right. And it also helped get the crowd really enthusiastic, because,
fired up.
Everybody was told to arrive early, and, there was a lot of sitting time before the actual show started. So, you had to get people back up to, moving around and getting excited. And so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It was, it really got everybody going. And we've been, let's say, we were waiting for a while. We got to the theater early, stood in line, got into the theater like an hour and a half before the show even started. So, there were some people that were still just kind of, you'd sit in the theater for a while, you're waiting for this thing to happen, and everybody's excited, but, maybe it waned a little bit. So, but he got us really pumped up, and he did a really great job. And he would come back, at some of the commercial breaks. We did have legitimate, 3-4 minute commercial breaks within this, and would come out and, talk with us and get us all inspired. And, not that we needed it, but it doesn't hurt at all.
Right. And sometimes we did hear again from the director, who would tell us some of the things that were happening, especially if they had to do a reshoot of something, they would kind of explain it. So that was exciting to me. It made it, again, what's the behind the scenes going on with filming such a
exactly.
program.
By the way, the director, and I'm sorry, I don't have his name here, unfortunately, Mishner, multiple Emmy Award winner. So really good. He's done this for many years in the business, and is really good. And I know he's going to put together a great show, and it was a great show we saw.
Right. And he seemed very heartfelt at the beginning, when he seemed very humbled and honored to have this opportunity to work with the Disney company for this enormous celebration of Mickey Mouse.
Absolutely. He came out and addressed the whole crowd, and it was a lot of fun. Mickey, there's a lot of Mickey in this, as there should be. Right. Mickey is around all the time. I'll just say that. I'm not going to give away anything, but he is around all the time, and he's going to do some stuff. They said this to begin with, and I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. He's going to do some stuff that you've never seen Mickey do before. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but just be ready for that. Mickey
He is talented.
Is amazing.
He is
Not
talented.
that we didn't already know that, but Mickey is amazing.
Right. And another behind the scenes is when Mickey was on stage during the commercial breaks, and he still was totally involved with the audience and with other people working on the stage and everything, and that was really cute.
He was totally interactive with the crowd and everything. Even when we were in the stop-down areas, Mickey was the lovable guy you know him as. He was all over the place, just very friendly, and he was fantastic, as he always was. And he wasn't the only one that was interactive as we were at these stop downs. Some of the celebrities that were there also were very interactive with the crowd, which was a lot of fun. Josh Gad was a riot in between we were a little commercial break, stop down. And he was a riot out there, as you would expect Josh Gad would be. He seems to be everything you think of him when you watch him in these movies.
Right. We were actually talking about that on the drive home, is that he is what he is. You know, he is very much a great performer, but he also is really the way you would expect him to be is how he acts in real life.
Absolutely. Luis Fonsi, who we talked about, you know, the singer for Despacito, who did his song out there on the stage, also was very interactive with the crowd,
Yes.
bilingually interactive, which was really a lot of fun for everybody in there.
Right.
And the person that I'm not going to name was also very interactive with the crowd.
Well, and, you know, going back to Luis Fonsi, that was one of the things that they did a retake on. I couldn't see anything as to the reason why, per se, but certainly thrilled that they did, because it's like, yeah, let's watch
A little longer
some of this
performance.
again, you know.
His performance was one of the best performances of the
Right,
night. I mean, they
right.
were all great, but his was one of the better ones for sure.
Right. But as you mentioned, as they were, you know, getting everything reset up to do that second shoot, he was hysterical, you know, with crowd shout outs to him.
Yeah. So it was great all around. When it does air on November 4th, you may see us, you may not. We were kind of up. We had really great seats, but we were up in the second row of the balcony. Really, it was a great spot to kind of just overlook this thing. I'm not sure how much the cameras actually hit our area, but you will see a lot of the crowd out there. We even got some gifts. I'm not going to tell you what they were because they're part of the show, but everybody in the crowd got gifts. It was really cool, really fun. It's amazing. You're going to want to check it out when it's on ABC on November 4th. There's no question about it. You're obviously listening to this podcast. Well, we hope you are, because you're Disney fans. And since you are, you're going to want to see this show, and especially if you love Mickey Mouse and, you know, and all the whole Disney family, you're really going to love this show.
Right. So going back to a question you asked me on the way home, I'm going to ask you. So what was your favorite?
I can't say.
Well, you could say the entertainer.
Oh, Mickey.
That's true.
Mickey was my favorite. Outside, of course, I love Leslie Odom Jr.
Right.
You know, but
That's true.
I love Josh Groban. He was fantastic. And the performances were magnificent. And like I said, some of these speakers were hilarious. Some were very serious, and it was all great all the way around. But Mickey, you know, as he should, he stole the show.
Right. Yeah, I would have to say, like I mentioned to you last night, one of my favorite parts included Mickey and Minnie. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Oh, of course, the two lovebirds.
Yes.
They're so cute together.
Absolutely.
They're so adorable, just as I hope we are. Anyway.
We are.
We are. I hope you people see that. She's cute.
No.
We're definitely Beauty and the
You're
Beast. There's no
hottie.
question.
No
The Beauty and the
way.
Beast.
No
There's
way.
no question. I'm the big hairy guy.
No. Have you looked in the mirror?
Yeah.
You're gorgeous.
Anyway,
Anyway.
we're talking too much about ourselves now.
Right.
Back to the show. You're going to want to see it November 4th. Again, we'll talk about it more after the show airs, but it's great. If you do have any specific questions you want to ask us about it, feel free to email us or contact us on social media. Hyperion Adventures Podcast at gmail.com is how you can email us, and we'll answer anything specifically if you just don't care about spoilers and want to know, because there's some people like that. They just don't want, they don't care. They just want to know
Right.
what happened. We'll be happy to answer. I just don't want to do it to a widespread audience, which we assume there's a widespread audience out there, because how could there not be?
Right.
Right? Right?
Absolutely.
Anybody out there? Hello? Anyway, so it was great. A lot of fun. We were lucky to go, blessed to be able to have these tickets. D23, we talked about D23 a number of times. They got us these tickets again, and
Right.
we were very blessed to be there.
Right. And I think of the seats that were given to, you know, I think like you mentioned, we were in the balcony section. On the main orchestra section appeared to be a lot of either celebrities, families of celebrities, etc.
Family of other people that were appearing in the show.
Right.
I think there were some Disney cast members
Right.
that were
right.
lucky enough to be able to go as well.
Right. But so for not being able to be in with the VIPs, I think we had some of the
We're not
best.
VIPs? I thought being with us means they're VIP.
It's true. The VVIPs.
Joking. Totally joking. Totally.
No. Very, very important people.
Yes. In our own minds.
And that's
in
right.
our own
That's
minds.
right.
Absolutely.
However, I think for D23, we gave us the best seats. You know, we had like you mentioned, we were in row 2 of the balcony. There were D23 people in row 1. We just happened to not be in that first.
We're a little slow getting from San Diego to LA, so we
Right,
just got
right.
there a little
A
later,
little
so we
bit of
got row
traffic.
2, but
But
we were still good.
nothing wrong with that. It was really center. We got to see everything
Oh yeah, we
really
had,
well.
No, I really loved our seats. In some ways, I think our seats were better than some of the back orchestra seats, where
Right. Well, yeah.
outside of maybe the camera would have picked you out better if you wanted to be on the show itself.
Right.
Our viewpoint was fantastic. We were right there, kind of almost over the stage.
Right. And that's something that crossed my mind during the performances, is that we got to see it at that a little higher level. We got to see a little more behind the scenes on maybe some of the backstage area, not backstage, but on the further back part of what's being televised. And then knowing that when it airs, we'll then see it more ground level.
Right.
And so having had that opportunity to see the different perspectives was great.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this whole thing comes together when it's all said and done, and how it's edited and brought together as one complete package, because they still have a month to kind of get it all together and get it done. I'm excited. I mean, it was great to watch it in person, but I'm also excited to see the final product when it comes out on November 4th.
Right. Seeing the whole stage is, again, comparing it like to a play. We got to see all the different parts interacting at one, at each time. Whereas when it's televised, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more close-ups on some things. So that'll be beneficial for us, because then we'll get to see it from that angle and, see more detail when we were maybe looking at it more of a broad stroke.
And it's funny, because you'd think sometimes, in some ways, you're like, okay, you're seeing all this stuff that's happening there. You're kind of, pulling the cloak up for the wizard on Oz or whatever.
Right.
Don't pay no attention to this man behind the curtain or whatever. Does that take away the magic? I didn't think it took away the magic at all of this show.
No.
It was really magical. I mean, yes, there's a couple things that we saw how they did it, but I still thought Disney did such a great job of providing magic even for the people that were there, that they kept it really in line with what people would
Right.
expect. And so I don't think it took too much of the magic away from it at all. I thought it was a very magical experience.
Exactly. And as Jay said many times, this was a celebration that we were a part of, and they really made it feel that way.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question. It was totally fun and totally a celebration of the person or the mouse we should be celebrating, which is Mickey, our favorite.
Absolutely.
Mickey, our favorite. So that's it for our main topic of the week. We always go through at least one main topic, sometimes two, depending on what we got going on this week. But then we get to our Disney stories of the week. We do this every week. If you haven't listened to this show before, main topic, we go to Disney stories of the week. There's always so many Disney things going on, and we like to kind of put in our 2 cents about it, because we think we're very important people, but like I said, in our own minds. And then we go through tips for people's vacations if you're having a trip to whether it be the Disneyland Resort or the Walt Disney World Resort or Disney Cruise Line, whatever. And that's how we kind of go about the show. So let's get to our Disney stories of the week. And I'm going to start with something I teased already. A new live action remake may be in the works at Disney. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the next movie that might be getting the live action Disney treatment is 2002's Lilo and Stitch.
Wow.
Yeah, very interesting.
That is interesting.
We actually enjoyed that movie a lot.
Right.
Apparently, this, again, according to The Hollywood Reporter, the studio has hired up-and-comer Mike Van Wees to pen the script for the remake, which will be produced by Dan Lin and Jonathan Eyrich. It's unclear whether the new project, which is intended to be a live-action / CG hybrid, is intended for theatrical release or Disney's streaming service that is set to, of course, launch next year. I'm betting this sounds like something that's going to go to the streaming service.
Right.
I'm not sure of that, but I'm betting this is for the streaming
Right.
service.
And it would make sense. They're trying to increase the amount of contents they have on that platform, so that would make sense.
Yeah, and they're already doing Lady and the Tramp, for that as well, among a couple other. And I'm kind of interested. I always get a little worried when some of these movies get told they're going to be live action remake, but Disney has not failed yet in any of them when they've done them. So I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. So we'll see. Lilo and Stitch seems like a curious choice. As much as we like the animated movie, it's actually a bright spot in what was kind of a slow period during Disney animation.
Right.
we'll see how this goes, but it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, looking forward to the music that could come out of there too.
There we go. Maybe we got some new with that.
Right.
We always like listening to some of the Hawaiian style music that comes out of that movie. So interesting.
Yes.
As you may know, if you know us very well, not only are we Disney fans, but we are also giant Star Wars fans. I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt as we speak, as a matter of fact. Well, new details came out this week for the new Star Wars live-action television series that, again, also talking about their streaming service, is going to be added to their streaming service when it comes out in 2019. As you may already know, Jon Favreau is the one who's producing this series. They have a title for it now. It came out this week. It is going to be titled The Mandalorian. Which is basically, Mandalore is a planet. You may know of like Boba Fett and Jango Fett. They wear the Mandalorian armor. It's very famous armor and a very famous planet within the Star Wars universe. This coming from StarWars.com. Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. So if you want to know where it is in the Star Wars timeline, there it is. They will follow the travails of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. And if you see, there's a picture that they released with it too, and it's whoever is it looks like I'm assuming it's the main character in the Mandalorian armor walking through, which looks like a classic style Star Wars marketplace or community or whatever. It looks very much like a Western, which a lot of people think a lot of Star Wars movies are kind of like a Western in many regards. I know Solo actually has a very Western feel to me.
Exactly.
So really interesting stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I read that, and that was really exciting to hear. And I think that is a great new direction to explore, because then they can actually, it's not like just exploring one person, but more of the culture associated. So
right. Awesome. We've seen Mandalore and the Mandalorians, looked into within the Clone Wars and within Rebels a little bit, and some slightly in some other movies and definitely in the books. But it'll be interesting to get a little more of that because I think they're a very interesting culture, and I know that they're a fan favorite out there.
Right.
Along with Favreau, the show will also be produced by Dave Filoni, who you may know as the one who does Clone Wars, Rebels, Star Wars Resistance, by the way, which is airing tonight, Sunday night.
I know, can't wait.
October 7th, which is when we're taping this, and we're looking forward to watching that later. Also, Kathleen Kennedy, which that shouldn't surprise you, is being part of this. By the way, she just got re-upped for a new deal, so good for her.
Right, exactly.
Good for her. Directors, some really big-name directors are going to be taking part of this. I'm going to totally butcher his name. Taika Waititi, who you may know as the director of Thor Ragnarok. He also plays Korg, by the way, the voice of Korg in that movie. He's going to be directing at least an episode. Bryce Dallas Howard, who you may have seen in a few movies, including Jurassic World. I guess she's also directed Soulmates, but she's also maybe best known as Ron Howard's daughter.
Who?
I don't know if that's how she's best known, but just if you're wondering, trying to picture it, she's Ron Howard's daughter. Deborah Chow, who did Marvel's Jessica Jones on Netflix, has also been tapped to direct an episode or two of this. So really cool. Like I said, the photo. Check out the photo of what I assume is the lead character in the Mandalorian armor walking through the marketplace. It makes you excited. Just that one picture, it makes you excited to see this. If you're a Star Wars fan or nut like I am, and like you are, you may be actually be more of a nut than me. It's really funny, I'm a Star Wars nut, but Michelle may be more of a nut than me.
Well, I think that statement in of itself, even if you clip it out of anything else, is a true statement.
Oh,
Star Wars or not.
Yeah, nuts. We're both a couple nuts.
Right?
A couple coconuts.
Exactly.
Speaking of more Star Wars news that came out this week, which was kind of interesting, there was a new study that came out that found that some of the negative press that came for Star Wars The Last Jedi may have actually come from Russian trolls and was politically motivated.
Oh, my God.
I know, really? Right. This is from BusinessInsider.com. A recent study's findings published in, quote, Weaponizing the Haters, The Last Jedi, unquote. And it's not the end, quote. And the strategic politicization of pop culture through social media manipulation. And I thought our name for our show was long.
Right.
Was done by researcher Morton Bay. It looks into the reactions to the movie online, particularly the negative criticism that's made the movie controversial within the Star Wars fandom. In the paper, Again, this is all from BusinessInsider.com. Bay suggests that much of the aggressive negative criticism isn't genuine and that some of it isn't even coming from Star Wars fans. Bay wrote that there was, quote, evidence of deliberate, organized political influence measures disguised as fan arguments. He says,
Wow.
quote, overall, 50.9% of those tweeting negatively was likely politically motivated or not even human.
Wow.
Human, end quote.
Pretty sad.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
Although-
this seemed like a political statement by this person. I don't know what it is with the study, and I don't want to delve into politics so much here, but I just found it kind of interesting and how some of this stuff is out there. And I know bots do go out and
Sure.
attack various different things for many reasons.
Well, I guess the good takeaway, if that is true, then there are many more happy people about Star Wars and the last movie, and well, not the last movie,
The Last Jedi.
the Last Jedi.
Specifically.
Right,
The last in
specifically.
the trilogy group, the
Right.
Skywalker series. And I've always thought all along, yes, is there some negativity out there about Star Wars? Whether this is true or not. Is there negativity about Star Wars? Yes, but it's not that. I didn't think the majority. I actually thought the majority of the people are pretty happy with Star Wars and what's going. Maybe they don't like a few things about it. Maybe they would change a few things, but for the most part, they're happy with it. It's just the people that aren't happy are really loud about being unhappy.
Right.
And they sound like they're a bigger group than they really are.
Right.
Whether or not it's actually Russian trolls, I don't know.
I don't know.
But I just found that story interesting.
Yeah, that is. And like I said, at least it's reassuring to know that there's probably more likelihood that people are happier. Like you said, everybody has an opinion about the movies, and even you and I differ in some of our perspectives of what we liked or didn't like about the movie, but not to the point where we'd be out there being so negative. So.
Or lashing out at some of the actors, which I think is the worst part of it. No matter what you think of the movie, even if you absolutely hated the movie and you legitimately hated the movie, there's never a reason to be lashing out at the actors themselves.
Right.
Especially getting really, really rude about it. You just have no business doing that.
Exactly.
So anyway, I just thought that was very fascinating. Very fascinating.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So we have a little park news for you as well here. Just a couple things from the parks. It's actually from Walt Disney World Resort. If you've always wanted to meet and get a picture with Disney's most well-known pirate, well, your chance is coming at Magic Kingdom Park. Unfortunately, they recently canceled the pirate tutorial show that used to take place nearby the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. I know we enjoyed watching that from afar. We never really, it was for the kids, but it was still fun for us to watch from afar.
Yeah.
But now, however, in that same space, there will be a meet and greet with your favorite captain and mine, Captain Jack Sparrow.
All right.
Yeah, so daily throughout the day, he'll be out there taking pictures and talking with you, and you can get your chance to ask him things like, hey, where's your famous compass pointing to now? Or, tell me about those really bad eggs. Or why is the rum always gone?
Right?
Yeah. I love Jack Sparrow, and I always thought he was a great character in the parks whenever you run into the parks. And I think this is fun that you're going to get to be able to do it on more of a set basis, not just randomly out the parks as well.
Right. And they have other fun things over in that area, so that fits in pretty well with that, to have that kind of a meet and greet. Awesome.
That'll be fun. One other park note is just a really quick one here. Disney announces that Tom Sawyer's Island out at the Magic Kingdom Park is going to be closing for a 2-month refurbishment. This is from WDW News Today, who we get a lot of our news from. They're great. You should check them out if you like to hear Disney news. They'll be closing beginning October 14th through December 21st. Just putting that out there just in case you have plans to be going out to Disneyland, or the Magic Kingdom Park in that time period. So one other note that I didn't think I was going to bring up. I thought about it, but I didn't think I was going to bring it up today, but just more thing kind of confirmed it. And this could be a small spoiler. So if you want to fast forward like 2 minutes or 3 minutes here, if you're concerned about an Avengers 4 spoiler, go ahead and do that. But Mark Ruffalo appeared on Jimmy Fallon, and apparently he may have let the title of Avengers 4 slip. Ooh. Which is funny because Mark Ruffalo has let things slip in the past. So they're a very funny joke about it. They aired it. Apparently, they bleeped out what the title was. I'm going to say it right here, right now. So definitely, if you don't want to hear it, it doesn't really give anything away, but it's other than the title. Do you want to hear it? I can tell you to plug your ears if you don't want to hear it.
I'll hear it.
Okay. So here it is. Avengers Annihilation.
Ew.
Is what it's said to be. But the funny thing about this is, and this cracks me up every time this happens, is that this has happened again from Mark Ruffalo. He's let things allegedly slip in the past. We've seen it from Spider-Man. Tom Holland has allegedly let things slip in the past. I think this is all a plan by Marvel, personally.
Right.
You know, just to have kind of make these actors be a little bit more beloved. Like, oh, see, we're just like you. We just let things slip. I think it's all plotted out. I don't think they let these things slip. If they do, it's even more great, you know, because you never know. But I think they want you to be, you know, always interested in these actors and what they're doing, just in case they might let something slip.
Exactly.
You know? But I just thought that was funny. It doesn't give anything away about the actual story. And I don't know if that's actually true. This is what we're kind of told. But the response, why I decided to bring it up is because I saw a tweet before I headed in here that Ruffalo said, you know, hey, Jimmy Fallon, and I'm not really quoting the actual quote. I'm kind of just going through it, but he's just, hey, Jimmy Fallon, you know, hey, this was supposed to be off the record. Can you please bleep it out or whatever? And then it was just right underneath it. It was a tweet from the Russo brothers, who are, of course, directing Avengers 4. You're fired. You know?
That's great.
So that's what kind of like, okay, maybe they're, you know, again, whether they're just all having fun at Marvel fans' expense, I don't know, but still it was a good time, and that's why I ended up bringing it up. I actually wrote it, I hand wrote it onto my notes here because I wasn't planning on talking about it before now, but that just kind of cemented it for me.
Right. So, awesome.
That's our Disney Stories of the Week. As we always wrap up our show with vacation tips of the week. That way, if any of you are planning to go out to the parks or the Disney Cruise Line, Run Disney, some races are coming up very, very soon. We'd like to give you a little tip to help you along with your plans. And we always start with the wonderful, beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, exotic Michelle, because she gives the greatest tips and because she's just so fantastic.
You're so wonderful.
Here is Michelle's tip of the week.
Well, thank you, sweetie. So, you know me, and I love the list, the top. So I have a top 5 list of adult must-experience activities on board a Disney cruise. So it's not meaning that you should abandon the family, you know, or the family elements of your vacation, but just to build in some time for kids to have their own fun and you as an adult to have your own fun time too. So number 5 is take full advantage of the family dining benefits. So, you know, you have the same servers at each dinner, so they get to know your kids, and that kind of helps offload you from having to really pay meticulous attention to what they're always ordering and everything. And they also get to know you and your likes. And what we've seen at some cruises is those servers are the ones that may offer suggestions to us of trying out something that may not be what we would have gone for. But again, the servers are also helping the kids. They help cut up their food. And if you do take the second seating, you can sign your kids up for the dine and play. And that means once dinner and desserts is over, the kids can move on to a counselor who comes into the restaurant, and then they get to go have some fun youth activities, and you get to then start your evening as an adult right then and there. You might want to enjoy some coffee or cocktails at the table before going out to party more. Number 4 is attend one of the adult cooking demos. That's always fun. You usually get a taste of what the chef is demoing for you. Number 3, try out the wine or cocktail tastings.
Those are always fun.
They are super fun and interactive.
Whatever you do, don't do them back to back, because we've seen some people do them back to back, and they're staggering out of there. It's pretty funny.
Exactly. So they are interactive. They're not snobby at all. We've gone to some that were even like champagne tastings and everything. It's just a lot of fun. You can sign up in advance or on ship after boarding. Number 2, try brunch at Palo. Mm-hmm. You know, and it goes without saying that the dining experiences at Palo's or Remy's is amazing. And if you obviously want to have some time that you are with the family, so we're not saying doing this all the time, but Palo brunch is really to die for. Mm-hmm. So go there with an empty stomach, though, because there is seriously too much great food to eat there. And number one, last but not least, is alone time. And that really is the name of this spa splurge. It's a little pricey, but you really do get an amazing amount of pampering. You can actually do it, even though it says alone time, you can do it as a couple. But
Alone together.
or alone. Yes, that's right. Alone together. But that is the name of the spa treatment itself. And it really is great. You get to pick a spa treatment, but you first start out going out on a patio. And even though we frequently get balconies when we're on board ship, it's really a different experience on this balcony because, you do have a hot tub for you to have some time in, and you also have a lounge. And so you get a little bit of time there before the spa treatment. And then after the spa treatment, they bring you tea and some fruit, and you get to just sit there and just kind of just take in the experience that you had, and it is totally relaxing.
Totally decompress.
Oh, absolutely.
So many of us work very hard, whether it's your job, whether it's at home with your family, whatever it may be. We all work very hard. We have some stressful lives at times. It's nice to just completely decompress, and Disney Cruise Line gives you some opportunities to definitely do that.
Exactly. So again, we know you're going on this cruise. If you're going as a family, you're going on it to have family time. But it's okay to have that opportunity to treat yourself as well. And if you're not there with family, because we've gone on the Disney cruise without family or kids, these are also some fun things to do as an adult and get some adult time.
Absolutely. That, by the way, if you do the second seating dinner, what was it, the dine and play thing with the counselors is great, because sometimes you just want to sit and relax, especially if you're there with some friends or family or whatever, some adult family or whatever with you, and you just want to sit and have a dessert, have a cup of coffee. You don't want to kind of rush through dinner, but you don't want the kids to get antsy, and sometimes you don't want to sit. The kids don't want to sit at the dinner table for an hour and a half or whatever. Really, it makes you feel comfortable, and you can have a nice relaxing dinner, and they don't have to suffer through a long, boring dinner as well, because they can go out and have some fun too.
Right, because they're usually getting antsy once dessert is done. And,
sure.
And a lot of times, too, the servers are trying to bring out food ahead for the kids when they can, or during some of the meals. So, it helps, make everybody happy there. And so, again, the wine or cocktail tastings, the brunch at Palo, and the alone time or the spa treatments, whatever spa treatment, if you want to consider that, can be booked in advance once you've made your full payment.
Yeah, perfect. So. As I said, Michelle always gives the best tips, so always listen to her tips, and then you can decide if you want to go through my tip. Her tips are always the best, and those are great tips for Disney Cruise Line. Now on to my tip, and my tip, I'm not going to even just mess around with. I'm actually stealing this tip from one of our OG Hyperion adventurers. Whoa. This person doesn't know it. I'm probably not going to tell them about it unless they happen to be listening, but I'm just going to go ahead and steal it from them and just take it as my own.
Sure.
This is my tip. This is not their tip. This is my tip. It's a great tip. That's why I'm taking it as my own. So here's the tip. If you're staying at the Walt Disney World Resort, you probably already know, or you may not know, you can begin securing FastPass Plus selections 60 days from the beginning of your stay, 30 days if you're staying off-site and have purchased theme park admission tickets. But mostly I'm talking about people that are staying on-site. When your window opens up, here's the tip. There are people that are securing their selections for not only, for near the end of their trip as well as the beginning of your trip. Okay, if you can understand that there. So. One way if you're going to go for some of the more popular attractions, it opens up the window best for you. Is, let's say you're staying a week at the Walt Disney World Resort, and you can book, of course, 3 FastPass Pluses per day for all those days. It benefits you on some of the more popular attractions like Flight of Passage, Slinky Dog Dash, or whatever, to when your window opens up, instead of booking those on the first couple days of your trip, book those on the last few days of your trip. The reason for this is that because when your window's opening up, it's the end of other people's windows. So they may be trying to book those dates as well as exactly the same time you're trying to book those dates. So they may not be available. However, if you're at the end of your trip, you have a smaller group of people that are trying to book those same dates because they may not have their date may not open up till a day after yours does, or
Right.
2 days after yours, or 5 days after yours does. So that allows you to get a better chance at some of these really popular attractions where the fast passes go very, very quickly. And so when you're going to try and book these things, yes, you can try for the early days, but I would suggest booking for the later days in your trip for some of the very popular ones because I just think you'll have least letter resistance. So that's my tip. It's mine alone.
Yeah, sure.
No one else gave this to me. I didn't steal it from anywhere on Facebook or anywhere. I didn't, and I'm completely kidding. Robert, thank you very much. I saw you post this tip in the past. I think it's a brilliant tip, and that's why I'm stealing it as my own because you did such a great job with this tip.
Absolutely.
Robert's one of our favorite OG Hyperion adventurers who may be joining us actually in some episodes coming up here in the future.
We're working on some good topics with him.
Absolutely. So, by the way, before we go from the show, I wanted to give a shout out to all those Disney Parks Moms Panels hopefuls that are out there. We've gotten into round 2 of the selection process. People are submitting their videos and answering their questions this week. They're about to get those in. For those of you that are heading into round 2, we want to send all our pixie dust your way and good luck wishes. Hoping you go far and this really works out for you. And for those of you that didn't make it through past round 1, we've been there.
Right.
We understand the heartbreak it can be, but we're here for you, whatever you need.
Right. And I'm hugging the mic.
We're hugging.
Sending a hug out there via the mic because we know how heartbreaking that can be and quite a big disappointment.
Yeah. But it's just not your time.
Right.
Your year is coming, all you out there that didn't make it. If you're still in it, this may be your year. If you don't make it, whether it was after round 1, if it's after round 2, if it's even after round 3, just because this isn't your year doesn't mean your year isn't coming.
Right.
So stick to it. You guys are all great. And we know that eventually you guys are going to be part of this helpful group, the Disney Parks Mom Panel, that helps so many people out there. So
exactly.
Yes. So that's it. Thanks again for joining us. Next week, I think Michelle already led into this a little bit, but we're going to do it anyway because I just have it in my notes and I just can't change anything. We're going to continue our 5 favorite things series next week, and that's going to be our 5 favorite things on a Disney cruise.
Yeah.
So maybe some of what Michelle has said, maybe something completely different from what Michelle has said there. We're also going to talk about Star Wars Resistance. As we've told you, it airs for the first time on Disney Channel tonight. Which is Sunday, October 7th, as I said at the beginning when we taped this. So we're going to talk a lot about that. If you have anything to say about it, if you want to give us your impressions of the show, feel free to contact us. You can find us on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook and Instagram at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. You can email us, Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I know it's a long name, but please just stick to it. Type it. You only have to type it once, and hopefully you'll stay and remember in your email. Hyperion Adventures Podcast at gmail.com, and you can connect with us on the web at HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. We'd love to hear what you think about Star Wars Resistance, the debut episode that's coming up this week.
Right. And if you also have some of your favorite things for Disney Cruise, since that's going to be our topic next week as well, feel free to share that with us and we'll share it on your behalf on the podcast, give you full credit for it. And I think I'll be able to find 5 more favorite things to do. What about you?
Yeah, I can name 100 favorite things to do on Disney Cruise Line. I could go, but we only have I want to keep the show around an hour tops, so we don't succeed at that very often. But I want to keep it as short as possible. The Disney Cruise is great. By the way, I think Robert is probably going to be upset because I think I convoluted his tip. He's going to come write me this week and say, dude, I had stated this perfectly and you went and said all this stuff and it made no sense to anybody. So anyway, Robert, thank you for the tip. So you found us today. You can find us in the future on 1057max.com under the Max Plus tab and on the Max FM app. We're also on SoundCloud and Stitcher. Subscribe to us, iTunes and Google Play Music. Whenever an episode comes out, you'll get a little announcement on your phone or iPad or whatever tablet you use, whatever it may be, and you'll know that our new episode is out. And if you just get a chance, please, we'd really appreciate it. We may do something coming on in the future. I'm kind of thinking about doing a thing when we finally get maybe a select amount of reviews, that we may do a giveaway to one of those people that reviews us. So just putting that out there. Give us a rating and a review. I'd really appreciate it. Even just a rating. All you gotta do is click the star. Just like 5 star. Yes, click 5 stars. Don't click 1 star. 5 star.
Subliminal
Always
messages
5 star.
there.
5 star. Here, 5 stars. 5 star. 5 star. Just whatever you feel is appropriate. We appreciate it in any way. It really helps others just like you find our show, believe me. So that's it. Thanks again for listening to the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We look forward to sharing some more time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.